Everyone, it's KIREI here for Bramble Fox, and I have a brand new process video for you using the Moments That Matter set that is available in the shop now. And I'm also using the Fox Cut Stencil number 134 and Paper Snips number 88, and they both come with the upcoming March Fox box. So I have pulled out the Simple Stories Happy Travels collection. I don't have lots of it left, to be honest, but I do tend to keep my travel collections because they're perfect for holidays and weekends away. And so I'm a bit of a hoarder of travel collections. So yeah, I've got bits and pieces of the pattern papers left and some embellishments, but that's okay because I'm going to use the strips to layer up behind my photos. Now I've got 8 small photos here, as I do love a small photo because I just find that getting more photos onto a layout allows me to get more layouts actually scrapped from holidays and anything that I want to get scrapped. Feel like I get more done because I get more photos on one layout rather than thinking I have to do 3 or 4 layouts to cover everything. So so I got the 8 small photos. Now obviously not you might not have access to printing small photos, but you could absolutely adapt this layout and use 2 portrait photos. You could use 2 landscape photos and lay them over one over the other. You just need to adjust the placement of embellishment clusters and things like that. So and these photos are from our holiday last year to Madeira in August. Now I have if you've been watching some of my videos, I have been saying that I've actually started a list. I started it last year, early last year, but a list of layouts I wanted to do. So as I've had an event, I sort of list down the layouts I want to do from that event. It might be just one, or it might be half a dozen, depending on what it was, if it was a 2-week holiday or just a weekend or a night out. So and I just go back to my list and look through when I've got an assignment to do, or I've got a particular scrapbook collection that I want to use. I just go to my list and look and think, well, what's going to fit that. So yes, I'm just slowly ticking things off, and it's working really, really well. And it also helps me not double up because I have definitely scrapped some things twice. So it's really helping me not to do that. So, which is good. But I mean, that's okay. I don't mind scrapping photos twice and things like that. Sometimes it's just, they work particularly well. But yeah. Anyway, so moving on. I have mounted my 8 photos. I've got the pattern paper strips as a background, and I have just laid them onto the white cardstock and I've just drawn roughly around them with a very light pencil mark because I wanted to add a bit of stenciling from this the new stencil here. I really love the design of it. It really reminds me, it's a bit all Achille-esque, which I love her designs. And I wanted to just I felt like adding the yellow and the oranges was just like really nice and sunny and happy. And obviously our photos, you can see it was glorious weather, so it really ties in really nicely. I'm using Distress Oxides in Dried Marigold, which is the orange, and then Scattered Straw, which is the yellow. And I added the yellow first, and then I went over it just on the edge in the orange to create a bit of an ombre effect. So I've got all of that done, and then I am just going to add some splatters as well over the top of that. And then once I've done that, I can start to get my background papers and photos stuck down, and then it gets to the fun part, which is always the embellishing. That's the bit I love. Okay, so I can't obviously wait for it to dry. I'm just, anxious to get on. So yeah, just pat it down with a paper towel, and then we can get started. So I've stuck my paper strips together, and then I think here's my trusty T-square, just to make sure that I get everything nice and straight and centered exactly where it needs to be. Now with my photos, I'm just adding foam strips to the top edge only, and then I'll stick them flat at the bottom. And I tend to do this on most of my layouts, mainly because I often embellish over the bottom of my photos, and then I'll probably tuck in at the top edge. So that's what I tend to do. It's not always the case, but yeah, that's what I tend to do. Okay, so just lifting up the edges there. Now that I've got everything stuck down, just to give me that nice little bit of dimension. And then what's next? Right. Oh, title. Together is everything. So there's two titles in the set. So it's the moments that matter. So you obviously get that one, and you get together is everything. So yeah, that was perfect for these photos. And then I've just pulled out some of the ephemera from the Simple Stories collection, and I'm just playing around with where everything's going to sit. And then once I'm happy, I can start to get things stuck down. Okay, so paper snips. So I am just bringing in the paper snips, and I'm using the little tabs here. I've got happy memories and beautiful day. And then I am going to do a bit more fussy cutting and cut out. There's a little vase of basket of flowers. I'm going to cut out the bows and then the tree. I think that's everything. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and the rainbow at the top. Yeah, you can see it all up there on the left side. So I then decided that I needed to add a piece down the bottom. I felt like I needed to balance the upper part of the layout. So I'm almost just doing a layered piece down the bottom. I obviously added a bit more stenciling, which I just did off camera. And I'm just layering up a couple of the pattern papers. I am really getting down to it. I looked and I didn't actually have enough of the other pattern papers. I only had that sort of green there. I didn't have the orange or that plaid one, but that's okay. I've just brought in the dots, so that's fine. They all coordinate really nicely. So getting back to layering up my bits and pieces. Now I'm bringing in a cluster on the bottom now as well, which I felt really balanced it because I'd had my cluster up the top left. I have a small cluster to the right of the photos, and it felt like I needed something else. So that bottom strip there to me balances the layout. So I'll have a cluster down the bottom there as well. So just getting things tucked in and stuck down. When I stick things down, I do tend to just stick things in the center because I've curved the edges of everything and that. So again, that's just me getting a bit more dimension into my layouts, which I like. I mean, I know that that's not for everyone, and that's completely fine. Some people are happy to keep everything very flat because it allows them to get more into a scrapbook album. Because I'll tell you, when you have lots of layers and dimension, it does. You definitely don't get as many into an album. So yeah, it's really personal preference. Okay, so down the bottom here, I've got this little picture that says, "Good things come to those who get away," and then got the one, and now I've got that little tree, and I started with it over on the right, but it does move. It comes down to the bottom in the end. Now I've got the cardstock stickers. I've got the globe here, and I'm just de-stickering the back because again, I like to be able to move things around and have some and curve the edges. I don't want things stuck flat, so I do tend to do that with the stickers. So yeah, it's just, and that's just a little like travel powder brush that you just put talcum powder in it. So yeah, nice and easy. I'm raising the globe up on foam pads, and then I can get the other bits layered around it. Now, I mentioned before the paper snips and the fox cut are from the March Fox box, and all the details for subscribing to the Fox box are on the website bramblefox.co.uk. You'll find out all the benefits you get from subscribing. Obviously, it means that you get a lovely little package of perspectives every month. And then you've got Foxbox Plus, which gives you the added extras, which are the Fox Cut stencil and the paper snips. So yeah, you can find all the details over on the website. Okay, so getting down my title there, making sure it's nice and straight. And then I'm sort of almost done actually. I think I get a few. Oh, I'm trying the foam. I've got some foam stickers, and no, that doesn't go on. I'm still playing around here, deciding if I need anything more, but no. I've got a couple of decorative brads I think I'm going to add on, and you can see pretty much finish those. And after I finish, I do add some journaling, and I did add a few heart perspectives. They're slightly older ones from my stash, but I wanted to add a bit more orange into the bottom cluster. So there you go. You can see the orange perspective heart, and there's another one there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching the process video, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.